Hello, my dear friend. Welcome to the history of sleep, a place where each night we drift together through the mysteries of the cosmos. Tonight, close your eyes and listen to the earth gently turning, to the stars tracing slow circles through time. Nothing ever stands still. Not you, not me, not the universe itself. All of us moving in a silent symphony written in light and the breath of space. If you feel a little peace tonight, please like, subscribe, and keep wandering with me through these long nights where the universe whispers. Hello, my friend. Let the noise of the day fade away. Let your breath slow to its natural rhythm. Tonight, we drift together into a story without beginning and without end, a quiet motion that hums beneath all things, soft as starlight, deep as the breath of time. Even now, as you lie still, the earth beneath you is turning. At the equator, every heartbeat carries you another half-kilometer through space, though you feel nothing. No wind against your skin, no sound, no tremor. Just the calm illusion of stillness. But the stillness is a gentle lie. The earth spins once every 24 hours. And as it turns, it carries you around the sun at 30 kilometers per second. The sun itself races around the Milky Way at 230 kilometers per second, and our galaxy drifts within a cluster of galaxies, each spinning like luminous gears in a machine without walls. From the smallest grain of dust to the vastest supercluster, everything moves in circles. It is as if rotation were written into the code of reality itself, a silent instruction left at the moment of creation. If we could rewind time to the first flicker after the Big Bang, perhaps we would see that same twist already there. A faint imbalance, a cosmic breath that never stopped exhaling. Physicists call it asymmetry, a tiny unevenness in the early universe, a tilt so small it could only be seen by gods or instruments. Yet from that imperfection came everything that spins, the galaxies, the stars, the planets, even the invisible rotation within atoms. A collapsing cloud of gas does not fall evenly. Gravity pulls, the cloud leans, and the smallest sliver of imbalance becomes motion. As it shrinks, it spins faster, the way a skater turns tighter with arms drawn in. From that dance of contraction and rotation, stars ignite. Around them, dust flattens into a glowing disk where worlds begin to form. Every planet inherits the spin of its parent star, the way children inherit a heartbeat from their mother's womb. And so, motion became memory. The solar system is not a family bound by gravity alone, but by rhythm, a celestial choreography millions of years old. Each body turns at its own tempo, yet all move within the same invisible harmony. Long ago we thought the heavens circled us. We believed the sun rose and fell because we were still. But knowledge, patient as meditation, taught us otherwise. It taught us that we are the ones spinning, quietly, perpetually, through the dark ocean of space. The miracle is that we do not feel it. We do not sense the movement because everything around us shares it. The air, the seas, the stones, all carried together. Like the calm in a train that speeds through the night, motion and rest become the same thing. Stillness, it turns out, is only the absence of contrast. And in that realization, there is peace. The Earth's rotation gives shape to our days and nights, to the rhythm of sleep and waking. It bulges slightly at the equator, balancing gravity's pull. Deep within, molten iron moves in spirals, and this motion, married to rotation, creates a magnetic field. A shield of invisible grace that deflects the sun's lethal winds. Without that spinning core, life would have no refuge. Spin, then, is not chaos, it is structure. It is the pulse that holds matter together, the quiet engineer of balance. Even in the smallest things, the electrons, the protons, spin is present, not as mechanical turning, but as essence, a kind of inner dance that defines what they are. Everywhere we look, from the micro to the cosmic, motion whispers the same message. Existence itself is a circle. Stars are born, live and collapse. Galaxies bloom, collide, and merge. Even time seems to loop upon itself, folding the past into the present in patterns too vast for us to see. And we, tiny beings on a spinning world, are part of that same rotation. Our days revolve, our thoughts return in cycles, our lives curve from beginning to ending and back again. To spin is to live, and to live is to move, not in haste but in rhythm. When you listen closely, the sound of motion is everywhere. It hums beneath the silence of your room, in the vibration of atoms, in the slow drift of continents. The universe does not stand still, it breathes, it turns, it remembers. Close your eyes for a moment. Imagine that breath, wide as the Milky Way, gentle as sleep passing through you. You are part of it, you always have been. The world turns softly beneath you. The stars circle far above. And between those two motions, the near and the infinite, there is a quiet place, a space where thought slows, and all that remains is the rhythm of being. There, in that still rotation, science becomes poetry, and the universe, for a little while, becomes a lullaby. There is a sound the universe makes, though we cannot hear it. It is not a note, not a hum, but a rhythm, the quiet, endless turning of all things. When you listen closely, you begin to feel it, not with the ear, but with something deeper, something that recognizes movement as the oldest language of existence. The earth turns beneath you, slow and patient, a vast wheel of stone and ocean tracing its circle through space. Around it, the moon glides in silence, locked in an eternal dance. One side forever gazing toward us, the other lost in shadow. And while they revolve together, the sun, our golden anchor, sweeps them along its orbit, dragging the entire solar family through the dark sea of the Milky Way. Pause for a moment and imagine this motion, layers upon layers of turning, each orbit nested inside another, like gears in a clock too vast for human sight. From your own pulse, beating softly in the dark, to the sweep of planets, to the slow rotation of the galaxy itself, everything moves in synchrony. Not chaos, not accident, but a cosmic machinery, ancient and precise, that never stops. The galaxy turns once every 200 million years, carrying with it hundreds of billions of stars, each star with its own planets, its own moons, each of them spinning in obedience to the same invisible law. Beyond that, whole clusters of galaxies drift and whirl together, drawn by gravity's invisible threads. And further still, superclusters stretch across the cosmos, curving like luminous spirals in an ocean of time. It is easy to forget this as we go about our small routines, a morning coffee, a familiar street, the same piece of sky. But beneath the quiet surface of daily life, the machinery never pauses. You are being carried along at hundreds of kilometers each second, every cell in your body part of a grand rotation that began billions of years before your birth. To be alive is to be in motion. The ancients once imagined the heavens as a great clock, each planet a shining gear turning in divine order. They were not wrong, only incomplete. For this machine has no craftsman standing outside it. It builds and maintains itself. Every orbit sustained by the balance between gravity and motion, every rotation a consequence of the law that energy is never lost, only transformed. The Earth spins because, long ago, when it was born from a whirling disk of gas, it inherited that spin, the momentum of its creation. The sun turns because the cloud that birthed it had already begun to twist. And the galaxy turns because all those ancestral rotations joined, adding their motion to the cosmic wheel. The deeper we look, the more we find the same pattern repeated. A hurricane spinning in the atmosphere follows the same geometry as a spiral galaxy. The swirl of water down a drain mimics the same mathematics as the dance of stars. From the curl of a seashell to the arms of the Milky Way, rotation is a signature written everywhere, as if the universe signed each of its works with a spiral. Scientists once wondered if there might be a single point of stillness, an absolute center, unmoving, from which all else turns. But the more we searched, the more we found none. Everywhere we looked, there was motion. Even the emptiness between galaxies is not still. It stretches, expands, breathes. There is no fixed gear in this machine, only flow, only balance, only the great conversation between movement and gravity. And yet, though it is vast beyond imagination, the cosmic machine is also gentle. It is not the clanking of metal or the roar of engines. It is quiet, a silent ballet of matter and energy, each part turning because the others turn. Like 1,000 wind chimes swaying in the same breeze, it creates harmony without ever needing sound. You too are part of it. The atoms in your body spin, not metaphorically, but literally. The electrons orbit their nuclei. The molecules of your blood twist as they move. The planet beneath you rotates, carrying you in its arms through a space that itself is swirling like a dream. You are not separate from the machine. You are the machine, a brief awareness within its gears. Sometimes, when you close your eyes, you can almost feel it, that soft, endless drift beneath everything you know. The body begins to loosen, the breath slows, and in the stillness of that moment, you sense it, not as speed, not as noise, but as belonging. You are turning with the earth, and the earth is turning with the sun, and the sun is turning with the galaxy. There is no edge to this motion, no boundary where you end and the universe begins. If the stars had voices, perhaps they would whisper the same truth that the physicists write in equations, that motion is the form of life itself, that without it there would be no heat, no light, no time. Stillness, true stillness, exists only in death. And even then, the atoms continue their tiny rotations, refusing to stop. When you gaze at the night sky, you are seeing a portrait of motion frozen by distance. The stars seem still, but they are not. Each one spins, travels, evolves. Their light arriving to your eyes is the echo of movement long past, an image of the cosmic machinery caught in a single frame, already changing by the time it touches you. Some call this determinism, others call it divinity, but perhaps it is simpler than that. Perhaps the universe is not a machine made by hands or by will, but a melody, a pattern of rotation and gravity so vast that, from where we stand, it seems mechanical. Like a song slowed down beyond hearing, its rhythm stretches across billions of years. And somewhere within that rhythm, within the slow waltz of galaxies, there is room for us. Small, conscious gears, aware of the dance we were born into. We build our own tiny machines, clocks, wheels, gyroscopes, as if mimicking the cosmic design we sense deep in memory. We watch the sky and recognize ourselves in its movement. To see the universe as a machine is to see it as ordered, intricate, purposeful. But to feel its pulse through your own heartbeat, is to understand that this machine is alive. It is breathing, unfolding, changing, endlessly renewing itself. And though it seems eternal, even it will one day slow, cool, and fade into silence. Yet even that ending will be another motion, another transformation, another gear turning into dust and light. For now, the machine turns. Planets sweep around stars. Stars orbit the galactic center. Galaxies spin in their clusters. Everything moves together in a choreography older than time itself. And in that movement, patient, silent, inevitable, there is something that feels like peace. When you close your eyes tonight, you may find yourself drifting along that motion, your breath rising and falling like the tide of a distant world. The earth turns beneath you, the heavens wheel above you, and in between, in that gentle, endless movement, you find the stillness you were searching for all along. Imagine for a moment that time itself were soft, something you could touch, fold gently in your hands, and turn backward, like a ribbon of light unraveling into the dark. What would you see if you could travel upstream through the current of existence? If every rotation, every orbit, every heartbeat of the cosmos could be reversed? Planets tracing their circles backward, stars unburning their light, galaxies unwinding their spirals like ancient scrolls. Where would that motion take you? All the way back, perhaps, to the first instant, the breath before breath, the dawn before dawn. Scientists call it the Big Bang, but to imagine it is not to picture an explosion, rather, a blooming. A universe expanding from something smaller than a grain of sand, yet holding within it all the potential of every star, every thought, every dream that would ever be. If we could stand there at that first shimmer of creation, we might ask, was the universe born already spinning? Was there hidden in that infinite heat and light the faintest twist, a curve in the fabric of nothingness that became the first motion? For in a perfect symmetry, nothing moves. Only when something breaks the stillness, just slightly, does time begin to flow. Perhaps the first imperfection was a turn. A gentle imbalance, a spiral so small it could only be felt by the laws of physics themselves. And that single gesture, that quiet, primordial twist, may have echoed through everything that followed. When we rewind time in our imagination, the universe doesn't simply shrink. It rewinds its choreography. Galaxies fold inward, stars dissolve back into clouds, atoms lose their structure, and even the forces we take for granted, gravity, magnetism, light, begin to blur, like colors melting together in a single tone. Go far enough back, and even space has no shape. There is no where, no when, just energy, vibrating in every direction, searching for balance, a balance it can never quite find. It is in that restless seeking that rotation is born. Some physicists believe the universe itself may have a kind of spin, a global rotation so vast that we can only detect its shadow in the way galaxies align or the way light stretches across the cosmic background. If that's true, then everything we see, every swirling cloud, every turning planet, every heartbeat, is part of one great rotation. Not separate motions, but notes in a single, endless chord. And if we could listen closely enough, we might hear it, the sound of that original spin, still humming softly through the atoms of our being. To rewind time is to unweave everything. Matter returns to energy. Energy returns to possibility. Possibility returns to silence. But even in that silence, something trembles. A vibration without sound, a curve without shape, the memory of motion itself. Perhaps that is what creation truly is, not the making of things, but the remembering of movement. Close your eyes for a moment. Imagine all the clocks in the universe ticking backward. The sun rising in the west, the oceans retreating into glaciers, the stars fading one by one. Imagine time folding inward, everything you know drawn toward a single glowing point, and there at the very end of backward motion, you find not nothing, but motion itself. Stillness, it turns out, is only an illusion. Even in the womb of the cosmos, before the first light, before matter, There was energy, restless, rotating, alive. It did not need permission to begin. It was becoming itself. To think of this is to feel small, but not insignificant, because in that first twist of creation lies the same pattern that shapes your heartbeat, your breath, the way thoughts spiral through your mind. You are not separate from that beginning, you are the continuation of it, a moment in its long exhalation, a ripple in its infinite spin. When you breathe, you mimic the rhythm of the expanding universe. When you sleep, you fall back into the quiet rotation from which all things came. Somewhere in the vastness of cosmic history, the atoms that now form your body were once part of that first turning cloud. They have been stars, dust, water, and wind. They have been born and broken and reborn again. Every one of them remembers that first motion, not in thought, but in the gentle spin of its electrons, in the silent rhythm of its dance. So when you close your eyes and feel the world turning beneath you, know this: you are not just moving through time. Time is moving through you. You are the echo of that first asymmetry, the child of that ancient imbalance. The universe spun, and from its motion you emerged, a consciousness aware enough to look back and ask, what if it had never turned at all? Would there be light if nothing had ever moved? Would there be heat, or gravity, or the sound of a wave against a shore? Without that first rotation, the cosmos would have remained a perfect symmetry. And perfect symmetry, though beautiful, is lifeless. It is in the tiny imperfections, the smallest twist, the faintest tilt, that creation found its voice. And perhaps that is why we, too, are imperfect. We carry in us the flaw that gave rise to everything. The universe broke its symmetry so that it could become. To rewind time is not to escape the present, but to recognize that we are still inside that first moment, still spinning outward, still unfolding. Every breath, every sunrise, every turn of the planet is the Big Bang continuing, the motion of that first spark expressed through a billion smaller motions. The universe never stopped being born. It is still creating, still expanding, still spinning, and so are we. If you listen carefully, not with the ears, but with the quiet space inside your thoughts, you might feel that slow rotation beneath everything. It is not something distant or abstract. It is the pulse of existence, the same rhythm that began when time first took its breath. And in that rhythm, you are home. You have never left the beginning. You have only drifted with it, a spark of awareness carried by the gentle, unending spin of the universe. There is a silence that exists before every beginning, a breath before the first movement, a moment so still, so fragile, that even light has not yet remembered how to travel. In that silence, the universe waited, and then, very softly, almost imperceptibly, something moved. Not a sound, not a spark, not a word. A tremor, a shift, the smallest imbalance in an endless sea of nothingness. From that first hesitation, motion was born. To understand the birth of motion, we must first imagine the world as it was before there were worlds at all. A vast cloud of gas and dust, suspended in a darkness without up or down, without direction, without form. It was not yet a universe as we know it, but a promise waiting to unfold. Gravity, quiet and patient, began its eternal work. It pulled gently, gathering what was scattered, coaxing matter to draw closer to itself. And as the cloud began to fall inward, it did not fall perfectly, because perfection does not exist in nature. Some parts were denser, some lighter, some drifted slightly faster, others hesitated. And in those subtle imperfections, those tiny flaws, was hidden the seed of every rotation that would ever be. The laws of physics, ancient and impartial, dictated what came next. As the cloud collapsed under its own weight, each tiny irregularity began to magnify. Matter that once drifted lazily began to twist. The whole cloud, once still, now turned slowly, as if remembering an ancient rhythm it had never truly forgotten. This is the law of angular momentum, the universe's way of saying that motion, once begun, cannot simply disappear. When something spins and its size shrinks, it spins faster. The energy doesn't vanish, it concentrates, gathering speed as it folds inward. Think of an ice skater, arms outstretched, turning in place. When she draws her arms close, she spins faster. Not by effort, but by the quiet obedience to this same law. Now imagine that dancer made not of flesh, but of dust and hydrogen, stretching across light years. That is how stars are born. As the cosmic cloud continued to collapse, its edges flattened into a disk, spinning faster and faster, the center glowing with heat from the pressure of its own making. In that center, the first fires of fusion would one day ignite, a star coming to life. Around it, rings of dust began to gather, their particles colliding, merging, building. Each small grain, each pebble, each stone became a fragment of what would one day be planets. All of them spinning, all of them turning, inherited from the same motion that had begun in the darkness before time. That single principle, when a collapsing cloud rotates, it spins faster as it contracts, is the reason the Earth turns beneath you now. It is why Jupiter has storms that rage for centuries, why Saturn's rings dance in endless orbits, why the sun itself whirls like a golden vortex in the center of our cosmic family. In the beginning, it was not the light that defined creation, but motion. For without motion, there can be no time, no heat, no gravity's gentle balance, no dance between energy and matter. Motion was the first heartbeat, the pulse that woke the sleeping void. It was not chaos. It was rhythm. Every planet, every star, every galaxy still carries that rhythm in its spinning bones. When you look up at the night sky, you are watching echoes of that first movement, still rippling outward, still shaping everything we know. The beauty of it lies in its simplicity, a law so elegant, so absolute, that it bridges the space between a skater on ice and the birth of the cosmos, between your own heartbeat and the motion of a galaxy. Because physics, at its deepest level, is not the language of cold equations, it is the poetry of balance. For every action, a response. For every contraction, an acceleration. For every silence, a stirring. The universe does not waste anything. Even stillness is only a pause between two motions. If we could travel back, past the galaxies, past the stars, past the clouds and the atoms, and stand within that first rotation, we might not see light or hear sound, but we would feel it, the turning gentle yet unstoppable, as space folded upon itself, as heat gathered, as order began to take form from the fabric of chaos. And in that turning, the universe whispered its first truth. Nothing that moves will ever truly stop. The motion of that first collapsing cloud still lives in the planets that orbit the sun, in the comets that wander through the dark, in the spin of the electrons that hum inside your cells. It is an inheritance that has never been broken, a cosmic momentum carried through time, from the first breath of being to this very moment. There is a quiet awe in realizing that the same law that shapes galaxies also shapes your own existence. When you breathe in, your lungs contract and expand. an echo of gravitational collapse. When your heart beats, it sends ripples through the body, a tiny echo of the pulsations of the early universe. The macro and the micro are not different worlds, they are reflections of one another. We are miniature versions of the great cosmic dance, each of us spinning within the motion that began long before we could name it. And yet, for all its precision, there is something profoundly poetic about this idea, that imperfection, not perfection, gave birth to everything. If that first cloud had been perfectly even, perfectly balanced, it would never have turned. It would have simply collapsed, silently, into nothing. But because there was a flaw, a gentle unevenness, there was movement. And because there was movement, there was creation. We owe our existence to imbalance, to the beauty of the asymmetrical, to the universe's willingness to sway slightly out of tune, and in doing so, to sing. When you lie awake at night and feel the stillness around you, remember, it is not still at all. Beneath you, the earth is spinning, carrying you through space at 1,000 miles an hour. Around you, the atmosphere is swirling in great invisible currents. Your planet turns around a star that itself turns within a galaxy, and that galaxy spins in a cluster, all part of a universe that never ceases its motion. Even the quietest moment of your life is part of that grand unfolding. You are a moving piece of a moving world, within a moving cosmos. And so when we speak of the birth of motion, we are not talking about something that happened billions of years ago, in some unreachable past. We are describing something that is happening now, within you, around you, always. Motion is not a relic of creation. It is creation. It is the heartbeat of everything that exists. And as long as the universe breathes, it will continue, forever turning, forever remembering that first gentle twist in the silence before time began. There are moments in the life of the universe when silence gives birth to light. Moments when chaos softens into rhythm, when what was scattered learns to move together, not in noise, but in harmony. This is how stars are born. Imagine, somewhere in the darkness, a vast cloud of dust and gas, ancient, patient, infinite. It drifts through the cold, illuminated only by the faint reflections of distant starlight. For millions of years, it has floated there, weightless, unbothered, a memory of stars long gone. But gravity, the universe's quiet sculptor, never sleeps. Slowly, imperceptibly, it begins to pull. Every atom feels the tug. Every speck of dust begins to fall inward, drawn to the whisper of the center. The cloud begins to collapse, and as it does, something wondrous happens. It spins. Like a dancer gathering her robes, the collapsing cloud tightens and quickens. The center grows dense, hot, alive. The outer edges flatten into a vast, thin disk, a spiral of gas and dust turning in a silent storm. This is the cradle of creation, the birthplace of stars and worlds. At the heart of the disk, gravity presses the material tighter and tighter until the heat becomes unbearable, and hydrogen, the simplest of all elements, fuses into helium. At that instant, a star is born. A sun ignites, not with a sound, but with the purest light. It begins to shine, not only outward, but into the story of everything that will follow. Around this newborn sun, the remaining dust and gas continue their dance. Tiny grains bump and cling together. They spin, collide, break, and form again. What seems like chaos is in truth choreography, gravity conducting the orchestra of creation. Each fragment grows heavier, gathering more material as it moves. Some become boulders, then mountains, then worlds. It is a slow, patient process. a billion-year meditation in motion, and all of it, from the smallest grain to the largest planet, turns in the same direction, bound by the same rhythm, the same law of motion that began with the collapse of the original cloud. That is why, today, all the planets in our solar system orbit the Sun in nearly the same plane and in the same direction. They are children of the same rotation, siblings of the same cosmic womb. Their harmony is not coincidence, it is inheritance. When you see the planets align in the night sky, you are witnessing a family reunion, a slow, majestic remembrance of their shared beginning. Look deeper, and you begin to see the same pattern everywhere. Every star you see in the sky was born this way. Each one has its own disk of dust, its own nursery of planets forming quietly in the dark. Some of those planets may have moons, oceans, winds, perhaps even the first breath of life. We are not watching the universe from outside. We are watching it repeat itself. We are one of countless echoes of that first act of creation. The physics of it, though simple in principle, is breathtaking in consequence. When the cloud collapses, its angular momentum, its spin, must be conserved. So as it shrinks, it spins faster. The motion creates structure, and structure creates stability. Without that spin, the collapsing gas would have fallen straight inward, and the story would have ended there. A brief flash, then silence. But because the universe turned, because it chose motion over stillness, it gave itself the chance to build. Rotation became architecture. Gravity became the hand that molded it. And light was the first song that rose from that union. Our own sun, that gentle golden circle rising each morning, is the descendant of one such spinning cloud. And the earth beneath your feet, this quiet blue planet, was once a swirl of dust within that same disk. The atoms in your body were forged in older stars, but the place that shaped you, the home that spins and breathes, was formed in that grand spiral of creation. We are, all of us, made of the same dust that once glowed in the heart of a forming world. And that dust still remembers how to move. Every atom of you, every cell, every thought, still carries the ancient signature of rotation. That quiet spin that began billions of years ago, in the dark, before time had a name. When you look up at the night sky, you are not simply seeing stars, you are looking at the machinery of time itself. Every point of light is both a furnace and a memory, a place where dust and gravity met, where motion became matter, and matter became light. We live inside one of those stories. The sun at the center, the planets spinning around it, and we, a small consciousness upon one of those planets, watching, wondering, remembering. The system feels vast, but in the language of the cosmos, it is intimate. A family gathered around a single flame. There is a quiet perfection to this design. The planets, large and small, follow the same ancient choreography. Mercury races close to the fire. Venus glides gracefully behind. Earth, our home, moves at the perfect distance for oceans to form and stay. Mars trails red and lonely in the cold. Further out, Jupiter and Saturn spin like watchful guardians, their gravity shaping everything that lies beyond. Each of them turns in the same direction, eastward, forward, following the original flow of the disk from which they were born. Each one carries a piece of that first motion, like a note in a chord that has never stopped playing. If you could rise far above the solar system and look down from the void, you would see them. Tiny worlds circling a golden heart, each turning in perfect grace, like dancers moving to a music too slow for us to hear. And beyond them, beyond our little family of light, the same pattern continues. Other suns, other worlds, each with their own stories of motion and birth. The universe is not a random scattering of stars. It is a tapestry woven by rotation, stitched together by gravity and time. Everywhere we look, we see circles, the orbit of a moon, the ring of Saturn, the path of an atom, the curve of a wave in the ocean. All of it sings the same refrain: nothing stands still. It is humbling to realize that the ground beneath you was once a cloud in space, that the warmth of the sun on your skin comes from the same fire that ignited at the heart of that ancient disk, that the air you breathe, the water you drink, the iron in your blood were once scattered fragments of dust, drawn together by a simple, unstoppable truth. Matter moves toward matter, and in moving, it creates. This is the quiet miracle of motion, that from falling came form, and from form came life. The formation of stars and planets is not a one-time event. It is ongoing, eternal. Right now, in the dark arms of the Milky Way, new suns are being born. Disks are forming. Worlds are gathering themselves from dust. Somewhere in that distant future, a creature may stand on one of those worlds, look up at its own sky and wonder, as we do, where it came from. And the answer will be the same. It came from motion, from the turn, from the quiet, perfect spin of creation itself. When you listen to this story, you are hearing more than science. You are hearing your own ancestry, told not in words, but in orbits and light. You are the descendant of dust that learned to dance, the child of a disk that turned itself into worlds, a fleeting consciousness within a long, unbroken rotation that began before time and will go on long after memory fades. The universe does not simply move around you, it moves through you. And as long as it turns, you are part of its motion, forever, quietly, beautifully, spinning in the light. There is a secret geometry that hums beneath all things. It does not reveal itself in straight lines or still forms, but in curves, in orbits, in spirals, in the slow rotation of worlds. Everywhere you look, from the smallest atom to the grandest galaxy, you will find the same silent truth. Nothing holds its shape without motion. Imagine the Earth. From a distance, it seems perfectly round, a blue pearl floating in black water. But look closer, and you will see that it is not truly a sphere. It bulges ever so slightly at the equator, flattened at the poles. This imperfection is not a flaw, it is grace. It is the mark of rotation. As the Earth spins, centrifugal force pushes outward, balancing the inward pull of gravity. The planet, in a constant dance between collapse and flight, finds harmony not by stillness, but by motion. Without this rotation, the planet would have collapsed perfectly inward, a rigid sphere, heavy, lifeless, unbreathing. But because it turns, it breathes. Its winds flow, its oceans move, its magnetic heart continues to beat. Every structure in the universe is a negotiation between two desires, to fall and to fly. Gravity is the call to fall, the endless yearning of matter for its own center. Rotation is the answer, the gentle rebellion that says, not yet. Together they form the architecture of the cosmos. A balance so precise that it has built everything we see. A world without spin collapses into itself. A world that spins too fast flies apart. But in that delicate middle ground, in that perfect humming tension between falling and turning, life finds a home. Look beyond our small world, and you will see the same law at work on a cosmic scale. The galaxies, too, are shaped by their rotation. Each one a vast whirlpool of stars, billions of suns circling an unseen center. If they spun too slowly, gravity would pull their stars inward, crushing them into a single point of darkness. If they spun too quickly, the stars would be flung away, scattered into the void. Instead, they find balance. They turn at just the right pace, and that motion, steady, graceful, eternal, creates the spiral arms that stretch across light years, shaping the galaxies into the most beautiful forms in the universe. Motion, it seems, is not chaos. It is order wearing the mask of flow. To see this is to see that form and motion are not separate things. Shape is born from spin. Stability comes not from stillness, but from perpetual motion perfectly balanced. Every galaxy, every planet, every storm is an expression of this law. That structure exists only because the universe never stops moving. The hurricane holds its form because it spins. The stars hold their galaxies together because they turn. The earth holds its oceans because it rotates. The act of turning is what keeps everything whole. In a deeper sense, rotation is the universe's way of remembering itself. It carries history in motion. When a planet turns, it remembers the spin of the cloud that birthed it. When a galaxy rotates, it carries the imprint of the cosmic forces that shaped its birth. Spin is not just movement, it is memory given form, a silent record written into every atom, every orbit, every beam of light. If you could pause time, if you could somehow still the spin of everything, the universe would not simply stop, it would fall apart. Mountains would collapse into the sea, stars would implode under their own weight, galaxies would crumble into black holes. Because motion is not an accessory to existence. It is existence. The steady turning of things keeps gravity honest. It prevents creation from devouring itself. Every planet's spin is a quiet act of resistance against the pull of oblivion. And perhaps this law extends beyond physics. Perhaps it is also a truth about life itself. We too are kept in shape by motion, by the cycles of breath, of thought, of time. Stop moving and you fall inward. Stop changing and you collapse into the gravity of what has already been. To live is to rotate gently between opposites, rest and action, silence and sound, darkness and light. It is to find balance, not by resisting gravity, but by learning to move with it, just as the earth does, just as the stars do. It is no coincidence that so much of nature's beauty follows the same pattern: the spiral of a seashell, the swirl of a hurricane, the arms of a galaxy, the double helix of your DNA. They are all variations of one sacred motion, the universe curling around itself, folding, turning, balancing. The same geometry repeats, from the vast to the intimate, because the same law whispers through all scales of being. Rotation shapes everything, from the pattern of galaxies to the structure of life. And when you lie under the night sky, when you see the faint spiral of the Milky Way stretching above, you are looking at the body of that law made visible. Each star, each glimmer, each breath of light is moving, balancing, singing the silent song of motion and form. Even here on this small world, the same truth hums beneath your feet. The equatorial bulge, the tides that rise and fall, the storms that spin across the oceans, they are not random. They are echoes of the same cosmic rhythm, translated into the language of weather and water. The Earth's rotation gives the planet its heartbeat, its magnetic field, its balance between day and night. And through it all, life flourishes in the narrow calm between two infinite forces. the pull of gravity, and the push of spin. In this way, motion becomes mercy. It prevents destruction and turns collapse into creation. It holds the universe in suspension, the way a note is held between breath and release. The Earth spins not to rush through time, but to stay whole. The galaxies turn not to move, but to remain in being. Motion, then, is not escape. It is endurance. It is the way the universe keeps itself from falling back into silence. If you close your eyes now and listen, really listen, you might sense it. The slow turning of the planet beneath you, the distant rotation of the stars above, the subtle spin of atoms inside your very bones. All of it connected, all of it breathing together in rhythm, an unbroken chain of motion stretching from the birth of the cosmos to this very heartbeat. That is the structure of everything, not walls and boundaries, but motion and balance, the gentle, eternal rotation that holds the universe in its embrace. Everything spins, from the galaxies that wheel through the dark to the atoms that hum within your blood. The same rhythm echoes across every scale of existence. If you could shrink yourself 1 billion times smaller, diving beneath skin and bone, past the cells, past the molecules, down into the smallest building blocks of matter, you would still find motion. At the heart of every atom, protons and neutrons nestle together, not in stillness, but in constant vibration, a trembling so fine that it becomes the heartbeat of matter itself. Around them, electrons do not simply orbit as planets circle a star. They exist as clouds of probability, a shimmer of presence, a blur of being and not being. And yet even they possess something we call spin. Spin. It is such a small word for such an ancient truth. It does not mean turning, not in the way we understand rotation. It is not a ball twirling, nor a top spinning on its axis. Quantum spin is deeper, stranger, a kind of inner orientation, a whisper in the language of the universe. Every electron carries this hidden rhythm. It cannot stop, cannot slow. Even if you were to freeze the entire world in time, the electron would still spin, not in space, but in essence. It is by nature a dancer. Physicists call it intrinsic angular momentum, a property that gives matter its magnetic character, that lets atoms bind, that lets chemistry exist at all. Without it, there would be no magnetism, no structure, no life. So the smallest things do not simply exist, they turn. They are born turning, and they will turn forever. Now step back. Leave the quantum world behind. Zoom out slowly until you rise once more into the visible universe. The same pattern repeats itself. The planets rotate, the stars spin, the galaxies revolve, each at its own scale, each carrying the same signature of motion. The similarity is not coincidence. It is a kind of rhyme. Nature writes in spirals, it speaks in turns, and whether the canvas is the width of an atom or the breadth of a galaxy, the handwriting is the same. When scientists first discovered that electrons have spin, it puzzled them. How, they asked, can something so small, so fundamental, turn like a top? But the more they studied, the more they realized that spin was not about movement in space. It was about identity. It was the way the particle declared itself to the universe. Here I am, it seemed to say, and this is how I face the world. An electron's spin defines how it interacts with others, how it builds atoms, how it creates the magnetic fields that shape stars and planets. It is not just a motion, it is a direction of being. And that realization changed everything. Because it meant that spin is not just a feature of the universe, it is the grammar of reality itself. If you close your eyes, you can almost feel the parallel. Our lives too have their own spin, not physical, but emotional, spiritual. We move, we turn, we orbit around ideas, loves, memories. We are never still. The soul, like the electron, carries its own orientation, its own way of facing the infinite. Perhaps that is why the language of spin feels so human. We say we are turning things over in our minds. We spiral through emotion. We revolve around what matters to us. Without realizing it, we borrow the same metaphors that nature uses to build existence. The macrocosm and the microcosm mirror each other perfectly. The spin of a galaxy and the spin of a particle are two verses of the same poem, two notes in the same music. At the cosmic scale, spin gives galaxies their form, those spiraling arms that stretch across light years. At the atomic scale, it gives matter its structure, its stability, its magnetism. At one end, the spin holds stars together. At the other, it holds atoms apart. It defines both attraction and repulsion, connection and separation. In that delicate symmetry, we can glimpse a truth older than science, that motion and structure are not opposites but companions. Without spin, the universe would collapse into featureless dust. Without structure, spin would be chaos. Together, they create harmony. And in that harmony lies something profound. Spin, by its nature, is invisible. You cannot see it, cannot touch it, yet you can feel its consequences everywhere. It is the invisible hand that organizes the visible world. It is the breath behind the breath. Everything solid in your life, the walls around you, the ground beneath your feet, the warmth of sunlight on your skin, exists because particles deep within those things are spinning. They are tiny whirlpools of energy, keeping form alive. To live, then, is to stand upon an ocean of motion so deep, so constant, that we mistake it for stillness. Think about this. Every second of your life, your body contains trillions of particles, each spinning, each humming its quiet rhythm. Your heartbeat may stop one day, but their motion will not. They will go on, joining new forms, new stars, new worlds. You are not just part of the universe. You are one of its countless spins, briefly conscious of itself. And just as electrons have their orientation, perhaps consciousness is the universe's way of looking at its own motion. A moment of self-awareness within the endless turning of matter and time. When we speak of spin in physics, we use equations, symbols, numbers that predict behavior. But when we speak of spin in wonder, we touch something closer to truth. It is not a mechanical property. It is a spiritual one. It reminds us that nothing is ever static, that life itself depends on the invisible motion of things we cannot see. The universe, it seems, does not know how to be still. And maybe it does not want to. For in stillness, there is no form, no warmth, no song. In spin, there is structure, connection, and the whisper of eternity. You can see it even in the most delicate corners of creation. The spiral of a seashell, the turning of a fern, the swirl of galaxies mirrored in the curl of smoke. The pattern repeats endlessly. The small imitates the great reflects the small. Spin is the bridge between the quantum and the cosmic, between physics and poetry. It is the fingerprint of unity, a single gesture expressed in infinite scales. And so when we say that spin exists at every level, from the particle to the planet to the star, we are saying something more than scientific. We are acknowledging the continuity of existence itself, that what happens in the atom happens in the galaxy, and what happens in the galaxy echoes in the heart. Everything turns. Everything breathes, everything remembers that first motion. When you look into the night sky, you are looking at the same dance that happens inside you, the same rhythm, the same invisible spin. And in that realization, something inside you becomes quiet. The boundary between inner and outer dissolves. You are no longer the observer. You are part of the motion you observe. The electrons in your hands spin in time with the galaxies overhead. The rhythm of your pulse matches the hum of stars. You are woven into the same turning fabric, the same sacred geometry that began before time and will continue long after time is gone. So when you hear the word spin, do not think of physics. Think of breath. Think of being. Think of the silent motion that holds everything together. Because at every scale, from the smallest quantum field to the largest cosmic wheel, the universe does not stand still. It dances. And that dance, that ceaseless, graceful spin, is the shape of forever. There are powers in this universe that never show their faces. They move through silence, through air, through rock, through you. You cannot see them, but you feel them. In the pull of a compass, in the dance of auroras across the polar sky, in the quiet certainty that something unseen holds everything together. That power is magnetism. And like so many other miracles in this cosmos, it begins with motion. It begins with the simple act of spinning. Everything that turns, everything that carries charge or flow, creates a magnetic field. It is one of nature's most profound conversations, the dialogue between motion and space itself. When charged particles move, they twist the invisible fabric around them, weaving lines of force, invisible threads that reach outward, curving, looping, protecting, connecting. Even the smallest particle carries this secret. An electron's spin gives it a magnetic moment, a tiny compass, always pointing, always remembering its orientation. Each atom, each molecule, is a miniature magnet, its field whispering softly into the world around it. Now imagine all of these tiny whispers joining together. Billions upon billions of atomic spins combining, aligning, harmonizing. The result is a great magnetic field, a vast unseen cloak of protection and connection. It is through this gentle physics that the Earth itself becomes alive. At the planet's heart, iron, molten, heavy, restless, moves in slow, spiraling rivers. The core spins as the Earth spins, and through that motion, the planet forges its own magnetic shield. This is not a metaphor. It is an immense living truth, a sphere of liquid metal, roiling and turning 2,000 miles below your feet, acting as a dynamo, a cosmic generator that keeps the skies safe. The motion of that inner core creates currents of electric energy. Those currents create a magnetic field. That field stretches outward, surrounding the planet like a soft, invisible cocoon. We call it the magnetosphere, a word too small for what it truly is. It is the reason the atmosphere still wraps the Earth. It is the reason our oceans are not stripped away by solar winds. It is the reason life can breathe and dream beneath the sun. Without this field, the Earth would be bare, its skies peeled away, its surface scorched by cosmic fire. Look to Mars, and you will see the evidence written across a planet's silence. Once, Mars too had rivers, oceans, clouds. But when its inner dynamo cooled and stopped turning, its magnetic shield faded away. The sun's wind swept in, stealing its air, its warmth, its chance at life. Motion ceased, and with it, protection vanished. So when we say the Earth spins, we are not just describing a mechanical movement. We are describing the pulse of a guardian. The turning of the core, the flow of molten iron, is the planet's heartbeat. Every day, that field deflects storms of radiation from the sun. Invisible rivers of charged particles rush toward us, but they are caught, guided, curved by the magnetic field, forced to follow its graceful arcs toward the poles. There, at the edges of our world, they collide with the atmosphere and burst into curtains of color. The auroras, those silent fires of green and violet that dance above the polar nights. The aurora is not just light, it is the visible soul of magnetism. The moment when an invisible shield becomes art. When you stand beneath those moving lights, you are standing inside the Earth's breath. Each wave of color is a signature of the spinning heart beneath your feet. Each flicker, a whisper from the planet's core, telling you that you are protected, that motion still flows through the world. And though you cannot hear it, there is a faint hum beneath the silence of every night. The magnetic field sings a low, unending song, a vibration too slow for human ears but always there, wrapping us in its rhythm. Magnetism connects us not just to Earth, but to everything beyond it. The sun, too, has a field, vast and shifting, woven by plasma flows across its surface. That solar magnetism shapes the winds that sweep across the solar system, touching every planet, every moon. The galaxies themselves are threaded with magnetic lines that follow the turning of their stars. Even the void between galaxies is not empty. It hums faintly with magnetic order, as though the universe itself is one vast spinning instrument, its strings made of invisible fields. Motion creates magnetism. Magnetism, in turn, guides motion. The two are lovers, forever intertwined, a dance between matter and energy that sustains the balance of the cosmos. To understand magnetism is to understand the tenderness of motion. It is not violence, not force in the crude sense, but balance, relationship, reciprocity. It is how the universe holds itself together without breaking. Even in your own heart, the same physics applies. Each beat of your pulse generates a magnetic wave. Each thought in your brain sends out tiny electrical currents that weave their own subtle field around you. You are, in a very real sense, a small planet, a flickering magnet wrapped in living motion. The same laws that shape galaxies are at work in your blood. You are never apart from the universe. You are one of its experiments in consciousness, one of its magnetic dreams. There is something profoundly comforting in that. The same invisible forces that protect the Earth also run quietly through you. You are not merely on the planet, you are part of its field, woven into its invisible geometry. Every time the sun rises, you live beneath a magnetic umbrella spun from the heart of the Earth. Every night, while you sleep, the auroras still shimmer somewhere over the poles, painting the sky with proof that motion has not ceased. If you could see magnetic fields with your eyes, the world would be a tapestry of light. The ground would glow with faint lines of energy. The sky would shimmer with threads connecting you to everything around. Each heartbeat, each thought, each breath would send ripples through this ocean of invisible motion. The compass points north, not because the needle knows where to go, but because the Earth whispers direction into it. Every migration, every flight of birds, every whale that crosses the ocean listens to that same whisper. The magnetic field does not only guard life, it guides it. And when you think of that, the quiet, constant protection, the unseen order that surrounds you, you begin to feel something deeper than understanding. You begin to feel gratitude. Gratitude that the world turns, that the core still moves, that invisible lines of force still weave their web around us. Without that spin, there would be no magnetism. Without magnetism, there would be no sky. And without the sky, there would be no breath, no sea, no dream of life at all. So tonight, as the planet spins softly beneath you, remember that you are carried inside a magnetic cradle. Every cell of you, every atom, is held in balance by forces that hum in the dark. Ancient and kind, the universe protects what it moves, and everything that turns not in vain. There are places in the universe where motion goes beyond beauty, beyond balance, beyond what the human mind can comfortably imagine. Places where the simple act of spinning becomes a storm so fierce that even light must bow to it. These are the realms of the spinning stars, and of the strange, haunting remnants they leave behind when their long lives come to an end. Every star is born turning. That is how nature keeps her balance. And as a star ages, as it burns, swells, and collapses, that turning grows faster, tighter, more desperate, as if the star is clutching at its own gravity. When a massive star reaches the end of its fuel, it cannot hold itself up anymore. Gravity wins the argument. The core collapses in a fraction of a second. The outer layers explode outward in a brilliant supernova, but the center, the heart, falls inward, crushed under the weight of its own mass. The result is one of the strangest, densest objects in the universe, a neutron star. Imagine something with more mass than our sun, packed into a sphere no wider than a city. A teaspoon of its matter would weigh billions of tons. Atoms themselves cannot survive inside it. Protons and electrons merge into neutrons, and the star becomes a single colossal nucleus, spinning faster than anything else we know. When the original star collapses, its radius shrinks 1,000-fold. And according to the law of angular momentum, as the radius gets smaller, the spin must increase. The skater pulls in her arms, and the universe follows suit. What was once a slow rotation becomes a dizzying fury. Some neutron stars spin hundreds of times per second, so fast that their equators move at a quarter of the speed of light. They emit beams of radiation from their magnetic poles, and as they turn, those beams sweep across the cosmos like the light of a cosmic lighthouse. We call them pulsars because from Earth we see them blink, pulse, like a heartbeat echoing through eternity. There is something profoundly human about that rhythm. Every pulse is a signal, a whisper from a star that should have died but refused to fall silent. Even after collapse, it keeps spinning, keeps sending out its steady message. Tick, tick, tick. A cosmic metronome marking the passage of time across light years. Some pulsars are so precise that their pulses rival the accuracy of atomic clocks. They do not waver, they do not drift, they spin faithfully for millions, even billions of years. The star is gone, but its rotation remains. Motion, once begun, refuses to die. And then, beyond even these spinning remnants, there are places where rotation transcends physics itself, where gravity becomes so intense that not even light can escape. The black hole, born from collapse beyond measure. A black hole is not merely an object, it is a region of space where space itself turns inward. It has no surface, no boundary in the usual sense. Only an event horizon, the invisible veil beyond which no information returns. Yet even here, the universe keeps its rhythm. For black holes too spin, and when they do, they twist not only matter, but the very fabric of space-time. Einstein's theory predicted this, that a rotating mass drags space and time along with it. Physicists call it frame dragging, a term too modest for such a profound act. It means that near a spinning black hole, space itself swirls. If you tried to stand still there, you could not. The fabric of the universe would carry you, sweeping you around the hole, as if caught in a whirlpool of time. You would not just move through space, space would move through you. In that moment, the distinction between matter and motion vanishes. The rotation of the black hole becomes the rotation of reality itself. We cannot see this directly, but we can feel its echo. Jets of energy, billions of kilometers long, stream out from the poles of spinning black holes, accelerating matter to near light speed. They pierce the darkness like spears of fire, marking the axis of rotation, as if the black hole were announcing its motion to the universe. Even at the edge of nothingness, spin persists. Even where time falters, motion remains. It is tempting to call this violent, to imagine these extremes as cosmic chaos. But look closer. There is order in the fury. There is symmetry in the collapse. There is hidden in the heart of destruction a strange kind of peace. The pulsar turns, steady as a heartbeat. The black hole spins, silent and sure. Neither can stop, neither wants to. Because in their motion they find purpose, they find form. Just as the planets turn to stay whole, so too do these remnants spin to hold on to whatever is left of themselves. Perhaps the universe is not only expanding outward, perhaps it is also remembering inward. Each collapsing star is a memory folded tighter, spinning faster, as if the cosmos refuses to forget where it came from. The neutron star remembers the star it once was. The black hole remembers the space that fell into it. And through that remembrance, through that unending turn, the universe keeps time with itself. When we listen to pulsars through radio telescopes, we are not just hearing data. We are listening to the heartbeat of gravity. The sound is hypnotic, a rhythmic pulse, ancient and pure. A reminder that motion never dies, it only changes form. From the slow rotation of a planet, to the lightning spin of a neutron star, to the curling of space around a black hole, the story is the same. Motion is the soul of matter. And when matter ends, the soul keeps turning. Close your eyes for a moment. Imagine standing near one of those pulsars, a city-sized sphere glowing with ghostly light, spinning hundreds of times every second. You would see the beams flash like divine breath, each pulse a reminder that energy never rests. The air around you would tremble, space itself vibrating with the rhythm of eternity. Now imagine drifting closer still toward a black hole's edge, the boundary where space-time bends into itself. You would feel the pull, the slow surrender of direction. Up, down, left, right, they cease to mean anything. Only rotation remains. Everything, even light, becomes part of the spin. In that moment, you would understand something wordless. That motion is not simply what the universe does. It is what the universe is. Even here, in the calm of your room, beneath the slow turning of the earth, that truth holds. You are not separate from those spinning stars. The atoms in your body obey the same laws. The electrons in your blood spin with the same fidelity. You are, quite literally, made from the remnants of ancient stars, perhaps even from a neutron star's ashes, spread across galaxies, reborn in new suns, in new worlds in you. So when you gaze at the night sky and see its quiet shimmer, know that behind that calm lies unimaginable motion. stars spinning, neutron hearts beating, black holes twisting the very soul of space. And somewhere among them, a small world turns gently in the dark, cradling a species that has finally learned to listen to the rhythm of the cosmos. We call that rhythm rotation. But perhaps it is better understood as prayer, a ceaseless, sacred motion that began before time and will continue long after even light grows tired. There are moments when the universe invites us to wonder, to look not at what shines, but at what holds the shining things together. When we gaze at a galaxy, we see light. Billions of stars arranged in luminous spirals, a slow dance of suns drifting through the dark. It looks delicate, fragile even, like a swirl of smoke suspended in silence. And yet, those galaxies turn at impossible speeds, each star racing around the center as if carried by invisible threads. If gravity from the visible stars were all that held them in place, they would have torn themselves apart long ago. The outer stars move too quickly. They should have flown off into the void. But they do not. Something unseen is holding them. Something vast, patient, and silent. We call it dark matter. Not because it is evil, but because it does not glow. It neither shines nor absorbs light. It simply is, the quiet architecture behind the visible universe. Imagine for a moment standing outside the Milky Way, looking down upon it as a luminous whirlpool. You would see stars tracing perfect spirals around a dim center, like grains of dust moving in a cosmic tide. And though the eye might think the light is the whole story, the truth runs deeper. Between those arms, beneath those stars, lurks an invisible halo, a vast cloud of unseen mass, stretching far beyond the reach of light. It outweighs all the stars combined, binding them in its silent gravity, like a hand cupped around a fragile flame. Without that hand, the flame would vanish. Without dark matter, the galaxy would dissolve. When astronomers first mapped the speed of stars in galaxies, they expected a simple pattern. Stars near the center should move fast, those on the outskirts slower, as planets do around the sun. But when they measured the data, they found something impossible. The stars at the edges moved just as fast as those near the core. It was as if an unseen force were lending its strength to every star, everywhere. This mystery was not fleeting. It was universal. Every galaxy, no matter its shape or size, spins too fast for the gravity of its visible matter alone. Something hidden was helping them turn. The discovery changed everything. For the first time, humanity realized that most of the universe is not made of what we can see. All the stars, all the planets, all the glowing nebulae, they make up less than 5% of the cosmic total. The rest is shadow, an ocean of unseen mass that shapes everything we know, yet remains forever beyond our touch. The visible world, it seems, is only the foam upon a deeper sea. And yet, this invisible sea is not hostile. It is gentle. It is patient. It moves with quiet purpose. It is the dark matter that keeps galaxies whole, that steadies their rotation, that allows stars to live long enough for life to bloom around them. It is the unseen structure upon which all beauty rests. Without it, the universe would have scattered its light long before the Earth ever formed. Without it, there would be no Milky Way, no sun, no night sky. The invisible has always been our guardian. There is something profoundly humbling about this. For centuries, we looked to the stars and thought light was truth, that what we could see was what existed. But the universe has always been more subtle. It whispers rather than shouts. It hides its deepest truths behind veils of silence. It asks us to feel, not just to see. Dark matter cannot be observed directly, but we can sense its presence. Through its effects, the steady turn of galaxies, the way clusters of stars cling together when they should be flying apart. Its gravity weaves the cosmic web, an immense network of filaments stretching across billions of light years. Every galaxy sits upon one of these invisible threads, like pearls strung upon an unseen necklace. We owe our existence to this web, to this quiet architecture that no human eye will ever behold. If you could see dark matter, the night sky would not be dark at all. It would glow with delicate structure, like frost upon glass, fine and intricate beyond comprehension. Each filament would shimmer with faint motion, connecting one galaxy to another, binding the cosmos in a single, breathing organism. Light would seem secondary, a mere decoration on the skeleton of the unseen. And perhaps that is the most beautiful truth of all, that what holds the universe together is not the brilliance of its light, but the depth of its darkness. Think of that for a moment. Light dazzles, but darkness endures. It does not fade, does not burn out. It remains steady, invisible, faithful. Dark matter does not shine for attention. It exists quietly, content to hold, to support, to balance the dance of all that glitters. It is the silent partner of creation, the strength beneath fragility, the order beneath chaos, the hidden spin beneath the stars. And maybe in some way, this truth mirrors our own. There are parts of each of us that no one sees, quiet, unspoken forces that hold our lives together. Our hopes, our fears, our memories, they are our personal dark matter, the invisible gravity that gives shape to who we are. The visible, our smiles, our words, our actions, is only a small part of the whole. The rest, the unseen interior, is what keeps us intact. In both cosmos and soul, the invisible sustains the visible. Dark matter is not just a physical mystery, it is a philosophical one. It reminds us that what we see is never the full story, that the foundations of existence may lie in what cannot be measured or named. Science gives us equations, but wonder gives us reverence. To know that the galaxy spins faster than it should, and yet remains whole, to know that an unseen hand holds it steady, is to glimpse the poetry written into the universe's bones. If you listen deeply, the thought itself becomes music. The stars whirl not in chaos, but in balance. They move as if guided, each one held in its path by an invisible rhythm. You could almost call it faith, a trust between light and shadow, a covenant between what is seen and what is not. And in that balance, the universe keeps turning, calm, endless, and perfectly composed. Tonight, when you look up at the Milky Way, remember this: you are not only seeing stars, you are seeing a pattern held together by silence. You are seeing the outline of something vast and unseen, whose gravity cradles every world, including your own. The galaxies spin too fast, and yet they do not fly apart. That, perhaps, is the greatest kindness in creation. The invisible hand that steadies the cosmos is the same hand that steadies you. Quiet, unseen, but always there, holding everything together. Scientists once believed that galaxies turned in solitude, each one born from the quiet chaos of its own corner of space. But when we looked deeper, when we mapped the heavens in greater detail, we discovered a pattern that defied accident. The galaxies along the same filament, spanning hundreds of millions of light years, shared an orientation, a cosmic choreography, subtle but undeniable. They were not spinning in isolation. They were part of something larger, an invisible flow that moved through the structure of the cosmos itself. Imagine the universe not as a still sky, but as an ocean, vast, fluid, alive. In that ocean, galaxies are not fixed islands, but drifting vortices, their spins stirred by unseen currents. The filaments, those immense threads of dark matter and gas, act like rivers guiding galaxies along their flow. They shape not just the positions of worlds, but their orientations, their spins, their destinies. Even across distances so great that light takes eons to travel between them, the same pattern repeats, a faint, steady rotation, as if the entire universe were whispering, "I too am turning." This idea that the cosmos itself may have a grand rotation, a kind of universal swirl, is both scientific and deeply poetic. It is not proven, and yet it beckons the imagination. Could it be that the universe, in all its infinite vastness, has a preferred direction, a spin so slow, so immense, that only the collective motion of galaxies can reveal it? If so, then our Milky Way, our tiny solar system, even our turning Earth, are part of that greater motion. A spiral within a spiral, a wheel within a wheel. We are turning inside something that turns. To see this is to feel both small and infinite at once. Small, because we are dust inside a dust, a speck within the cosmic loom. And infinite, because the same law that turns galaxies turns the electrons within us. From the smallest spin to the grandest, the pattern holds. Rotation is not confined to scale. It is the language of existence itself. Perhaps that is what the cosmic alignment reveals, that everything, everywhere, is connected by the same rhythm, the same silent pulse that hums beneath time. When astronomers trace these alignments, they use the faintest clues, polarizations of light, maps of galaxies across billions of parsecs, statistical whispers in the data. What they find is astonishing. In some regions, entire clusters of galaxies tilt in the same direction, like dancers bowing toward an unseen conductor. Their axes are not random, but guided, aligned with the flow of the cosmic filaments that cradle them. It is as if the filaments themselves are channels of motion, spinning ever so slightly, imparting their twist to every galaxy born within them. What does it mean for a filament, an object millions of light years long, to have a spin? We can barely imagine it. We think of galaxies as vast, but a filament dwarfs them all. A bridge of matter and gravity connecting clusters across the cosmic web. If such a structure turns, then space itself is rotating, not just the objects within it, but the very scaffold of the universe. The cosmos, then, is not a static map of stars and voids. It is a living fabric, folding and flowing, its threads curling gently over time. Some physicists have begun to wonder if this motion is not merely local, but universal. If perhaps the entire cosmos was born with a faint, global rotation, a remnant twist from the moment of creation. If so, then the Big Bang was not an explosion, but a spiral, a flowering outward that carried a subtle turn, a cosmic signature still written in the orientation of galaxies today. It would mean that the universe has memory, that its expansion is not random, but choreographed by an ancient rhythm that began in the first second of time. When you think of this, you may feel the same quiet awe that filled the early astronomers who first noticed that galaxies themselves were moving. We once believed we lived in the center of all things. Then we learned that we were orbiting a star. Then that our star orbited the heart of a galaxy. Now perhaps we begin to see that even our galaxy moves within a greater flow, a motion so vast that it makes our entire existence feel like a single breath in an infinite current. We are not at the center of the universe. We are part of its rhythm. What if this cosmic alignment is not just a scientific observation, but a reflection of harmony? The galaxies, after all, are not fighting gravity, they are moving with it, trusting the quiet pull of the unseen. In that sense, the universe is teaching us something subtle, that alignment is not about control, but surrender. The galaxies align because they allow themselves to follow the deeper flow of creation. Perhaps, in our own small way, we are called to do the same. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine the universe from far above, a vast tapestry of light and shadow, woven through with threads of motion. Each filament glows faintly with energy. Each galaxy turns softly along its path. The whole structure, though incomprehensibly large, feels alive, as if the universe itself were breathing. The filaments twist like strands of hair in the wind, their gentle rotations guiding stars and planets, black holes and nebulae in a slow, eternal ballet. And through it all, a single rhythm persists, quiet, patient, endless. The rhythm of spin, the rhythm of being. Perhaps that is what cosmic alignment truly means. Not that the universe is ordered, but that it listens to itself. Each galaxy hears the pull of its neighbors, feels the whisper of the filament, and together they create a harmony that no human ear could ever hear. The universe in all its vastness is not random at all. It is composed, a symphony written in motion, played on the strings of gravity and time. And somewhere, amid that grand alignment, our tiny planet turns in time with the music. A single note in an endless, spinning song. If you listen carefully to the silence of the night, beneath the hum of stars and the steady turning of the earth, you may sense something ancient, a rhythm too vast to measure, too patient to fade. It is the memory of motion, the quiet remembrance of the moment when everything began to move. From the first trembling instant after the Big Bang to the soft spinning of planets tonight, the universe has never stopped turning. Motion has never been lost. It has only changed its form, passed from one thing to another, like a story told endlessly through time. Physicists call this the conservation of angular momentum, but beneath the mathematics lies something more poetic, the idea that the universe remembers. Every spin, every rotation, every whisper of motion that ever began still exists somewhere. Not as sound, not as light, but as balance, a quiet record kept in the very fabric of space. Nothing that moves is ever truly forgotten. The earth remembers the swirl of the cloud from which it was born. The sun remembers the rotation of the nebula that collapsed to make it shine. And that nebula remembered the turning of stars that came before it, ancient suns that died and scattered their ashes so that others could form. In this way, motion passes through generations, like inheritance written in light. Every atom in your body carries that lineage. The electrons spinning around their nuclei move not by chance, but by the same cosmic principle that turns galaxies. The spin within you is older than your bones, older than the planet, older than the stars. When you move, you echo the first movement that ever was. Even your heartbeat, steady and circular in its rhythm, is a small tribute to that great rotation. The pulse that began when time itself began. Imagine for a moment rewinding time, not just years, not centuries, but billions of years, back to when everything that now exists was compressed into a single radiant point. There was no light, no shape, no sound, only potential. And then the universe exhaled. That first expansion was not smooth. It carried with it a slight twist, a tiny imperfection, a small asymmetry, the first seed of rotation. From that twist, everything flowed. It became the blueprint for motion, the way galaxies would later spin, the way stars would be born, the way matter itself would dance through the vacuum. That ancient turning still lives on, woven into every curve of space-time. In a sense, the universe has a kind of memory, but not the way we understand memory. It does not think, it does not choose what to remember. It is its own memory. Each rotation, each orbit, each vibration is a trace of what has been, a signature carved into existence. Even when a star dies, its spin does not vanish. It is carried on in the fragments it leaves behind, in the gas and dust that one day form new stars, new worlds, new forms of motion. The circle continues, and with it, the remembrance of beginnings. When you look at the night sky, what you see is not just light. You are seeing memory. Every photon that touches your eyes tonight has traveled for thousands, sometimes millions of years. Each one carries the story of its origin, the spin of an atom, the dance of a distant sun, the echo of the universe's first twist. Even the starlight you see is not still. It rotates as it moves, its polarization whispering the history of the space it has crossed. Light remembers the roads it travels. Matter remembers the forces that shaped it. The universe remembers everything it has ever done, alive in new form. There is comfort in that idea, because if motion is never lost, then nothing truly ends. A planet may crumble, a star may fade, but their motion remains, transformed, redistributed, alive in new forms. The energy of their spin continues, woven into the next chapter of existence. It is passed along like breath, from star to dust, from dust to world, from world to life. We, too, are part of that inheritance. Every step you take, every movement you make, is a continuation of that first universal gesture, the turning outward from stillness. The atoms that make you move were once inside stars that spun across the Milky Way. Their magnetic fields wrapped around them. Their light crossed empty space, and their remnants became part of you. When you lift your hand, you are continuing the motion of those stars. You are their afterimage, still in motion, still remembering. The universe is not static. It is not a frozen sculpture in the dark. It is a river, and every eddy, every swirl, every spin is a note in its endless flow. Even gravity, the great architect of the cosmos, is not truly a force of stillness. It bends space, curves time, guides motion, but it also records it. Wherever something turns, the space around it twists slightly, carrying a faint trace of that motion onward. Physicists call it frame dragging, the way a spinning body drags space-time along with it. It means that motion, once begun, leaves its imprint on the universe itself. Even when the object that spun is gone, the echo remains, rippling through the cosmos like a soft vibration that never stops. This is how the universe remembers, not in words, not in pictures, but in motion. Every turning planet, every orbiting moon, every spinning particle, they are all records of a story still being told. You could say the universe is a library written in motion, each atom a letter, each orbit a sentence, each galaxy a chapter. And somewhere in that grand narrative, you too are a line, a single phrase in the poetry of rotation. There is a kind of peace in realizing this, because it means nothing is truly lost. Everything that has ever turned, ever breathed, ever burned, continues in some form forever. The motion of your life, the sound of your breath, the warmth of your skin, the beating of your heart, will one day dissolve back into the wider rhythm of the cosmos. Your atoms will spin elsewhere, perhaps in a new star, a new world, a new thought in the endless dream of the universe. And in that way you will be remembered, not as a name, but as motion, as part of the ongoing memory of creation. The ancients once said that time is a circle, that the heavens turn because the universe remembers itself. And now, with all our science, we find that they were right in ways they could never have known. For even when all light fades, the rotation will remain. The memory will endure. The fabric of space will still hum with motion, its threads carrying the faint echo of every turn that ever was. In the end, the universe will be nothing but its own remembrance, a silent spinning sea, filled with the echoes of everything that ever moved. And maybe that is what eternity truly is. Not time without end, but motion without forgetting. There is a gentleness to endings that we rarely notice. Not the sudden kind, not the violent collapse, but the quiet slowing. The moment when motion grows weary and time begins to stretch its fingers through eternity. Even the universe, for all its boundless power, is not immune to fatigue. Its wheels keep turning, but the rhythm has changed. The great dance of creation, once fierce and bright, is learning to move more slowly. If you listen closely, you can almost hear it, a soft deceleration beneath everything that spins. The Earth, for instance, our steadfast home, is no longer turning as fast as she once did. Each century, her day grows longer by a few fragile milliseconds. It sounds like nothing, a breath, a pause too small to matter. And yet, it is a reminder that even worlds grow old. The cause is subtle, a celestial tenderness between partners, the moon and the earth, locked together in a tidal embrace that has lasted 4 billion years. Each night, as the moon rises and sets, its gravity pulls at the oceans, drawing tides across the face of the world. And though the moon gives us beauty, the shimmer of tides, the rhythm of coasts, the music of waves, it also takes something in return. With every tide that rises and falls, energy leaves the Earth's rotation. Tiny bits of momentum are stolen away, passed to the moon like a lover leaning back in a slow dance. The moon drifts farther from us, a few centimeters each year, and the Earth turns a little slower. This is not punishment, but partnership. A cosmic exchange, a quiet conservation of motion. Where the Earth loses speed, the moon gains distance. The two are bound forever by the invisible threads of gravity and time. If you could watch the Earth from afar, over billions of years, you would see her spin ease into stillness. Days that once rushed by in 18 hours now take 24. And someday, in a future far beyond us, the Earth will turn so slowly that one side will always face the moon. The tides will freeze into place, the oceans sigh, and night will no longer chase day across the sky. It will be, in its own way, a moment of peace, a long exhale after eons of motion. But this slowing is not only the Earth's story. It is written across the cosmos. Everywhere, rotation gives itself away, to friction, to light, to gravity. Stars, too, lose their spin. When they are young, they whirl with ferocious speed, their magnetic fields roaring with energy. But as they age, their winds carry that energy away, slowing their motion bit by bit, until they glow quietly, content to shine rather than burn. Galaxies, too, are slowing down. Each collision, each merger, each gravitational tug robs them of a little momentum. The stars inside them trade motion for heat, order for entropy. The once tight spirals begin to loosen, their shapes softening like aging hands. The universe is not dying, it is resting. There is poetry in this gradual fading. Nothing ends abruptly. Everything yields in time. Even the most powerful forces find a kind of surrender. Gravity, that great sculptor of motion, pulls relentlessly, but it also wears things down, turning spin into heat and heat into stillness. This process has a name: tidal friction. It happens wherever one body pulls upon another, stretching, twisting, resisting. Over time, the dance becomes slower, more intimate, more still. The moon slows the earth, the sun slows the planets, the galaxies slow one another, their tides made of stars instead of water. Everywhere you look, motion is being exchanged, never lost, only transformed. If you were to stand at the edge of a galaxy and watch its stars revolve, you would see this too, a kind of cosmic patience. The outer stars lag behind. The central black hole swallows motion, turning energy into heat, spin into silence. And yet through all of this, there is no sadness. The slowing down is not a failure. It is simply another phase of the eternal rhythm. The universe does not mourn its motion, it transforms it. You can feel this law even within yourself. Every living thing moves fast when it is young. Hearts race, thoughts spin, life burns brightly in its rush to unfold. But as time passes, the rhythm softens. The breath slows, the pulse deepens, and motion becomes grace instead of urgency. In that slowing, we do not lose life, we gain perspective. We begin to move in time with the larger pattern, the long, slow breathing of the cosmos. Perhaps the universe itself is doing the same. Perhaps this deceleration is not decay, but wisdom. A settling into awareness. Even light, that most faithful traveler, cannot escape the entropy of age. As the universe expands, its light stretches, its waves growing longer, its colors fading into red. This too is a kind of slowing, not of speed, for light always moves at light's pace, but of energy, of frequency, of brilliance. The glow of creation is softening, not extinguishing, like embers cooling at the end of a long, magnificent fire. And in that fading light, the universe keeps remembering the heat from which it came. One might ask, will the spin ever stop completely? Will the stars one day stand still? The planets frozen, the galaxies unmoving? Perhaps not. For even in the far future, when the cosmos is stretched beyond recognition, when every light has dimmed, the remnants will still carry a whisper of motion, a faint rotation in the dust, a soft echo of the first turn. The spin may slow, but it will not die. Motion is not a habit of the universe. It is its nature. Even stillness, when you look close enough, is just motion too small to see. So when you lie beneath the stars tonight, and the moon lifts its silver weight across the sea, remember that you are part of this slow exchange, this cosmic give and take between speed and rest, energy and time. The moon is pulling at you, even now, ever so gently. The tides in your blood, the rhythm of your breath, answer that same pull. You are slowing, the planet is slowing, the galaxy is slowing, and yet everything continues to turn. It is not the end of motion, but the maturing of it. A shift from the wild pulse of youth to the calm grace of endurance. In the farthest future, when the last galaxies fade into faint smudges of red, when even the stars fall quiet, the universe will not stop. It will continue to drift, not in speed but in stillness. The rhythm will remain, not as movement, but as memory. A pulse so slow that it becomes silence itself. And maybe that is what eternity sounds like. Not a roar, not a rush, but a long, soft breath. The sound of the universe finally learning to rest. There will come a time so distant that it dissolves all meaning of distance, when the universe will grow quiet. Not suddenly, not with a cataclysm or a scream, but slowly, as softly as a sigh leaving the lungs of eternity. For now, we live in an age of light. Stars still burn, galaxies still turn, gravity still gathers and folds. There's warmth and motion and music. But every song, however beautiful, must someday fall to silence. The universe, vast as it is not eternal in its fire. Energy is finite. Every star you see is spending itself, transforming fuel into light, heat into time. Each photon that leaves its heart carries away a fraction of its life. And though there are countless stars, their sum is not infinite. There will come a day when the last of them will burn the last of its hydrogen, and the sky will begin to dim. It will not be a sudden darkness, but a long fading dusk, a cosmic sunset stretched across trillions of years. In that far future, the universe will still be spinning, but its spin will be different. Slower, thinner, like the last ripple on a dying tide. Galaxies will still turn, but their arms will loosen, their stars scattered and spent. Planets will drift through emptiness, no longer warmed by suns. Black holes will be the final engines, spinning silently at the heart of nothing, their gravity shaping what remains of time. Even they, those dark and patient titans, will not last forever. For even black holes leak their strength. Through a faint, whispering process, Hawking radiation, they evaporate, atom by atom, until what once devoured stars fades into transparency. The most powerful forces we know will vanish not in violence, but in surrender. And as they fade, so too will space itself begin to cool. The stars will flicker out one by one, like candles in an endless night. The galaxies will drift apart, their light stretched thin by expansion, until even photons are too faint to find one another. In that age, the universe will enter what physicists call the era of degeneracy, a time when the cosmos no longer shines, but endures in quiet motion. The orbits will still exist, the spins will still continue, but all will move through a kind of cosmic sleep. A cold dream where motion persists without meaning, where rotation becomes memory and time itself slows into stillness. The remaining matter, the cinders of once living stars, will drift in vast solitude. Neutron stars, white dwarfs, frozen worlds, they will spin like ancient wheels in a space that has forgotten warmth. It is strange, isn't it, to think that motion can survive the death of light? But it can. For the laws of physics, those eternal scriptures written into the bones of the universe, do not vanish with beauty. Angular momentum, that quiet covenant of rotation, endures. Even when all energy is lost, the turning continues. Not fast, not bright, but constant, like a heartbeat that refuses to stop even after the song has ended. Imagine that distant universe. No stars, no constellations, only the faint spin of dead worlds, the slow drifting of cosmic dust, the quiet hum of time itself. Temperature will approach absolute zero. Motion will become lazy, drawn out, as though space itself is falling asleep. This is not destruction. It is rest. The cosmos, after eons of creation and collapse, will finally exhale, a long, cooling breath that lasts forever. But even in this twilight, something profound remains. The universe will still remember its motion. Every turn that ever was, every orbit, every spin, they will still be written into its structure. The momentum of those early galaxies, the rotation of ancient stars, the spinning atoms that built us, all will still exist, not as action, but as pattern, as imprint, as the final whisper of a story once filled with fire. Motion will have become memory. In that far horizon, time itself begins to lose its meaning. There will be no more change, no more events. The expansion will stretch everything so thin that interaction becomes impossible. No sound, no heat, no collision. And yet, the universe will still be, still vast, still turning, still holding the shape of what once was. It will not end with an explosion, but with a stillness so deep that it contains the echo of every movement before it, like the final vibration of a bell after the tone has faded. Some call this the heat death of the universe, the moment when entropy claims all order. But perhaps it is better to think of it as the universe entering its final meditation. The frantic dance of energy will be over. What remains will be the pure rhythm of existence itself, the faint spin of particles, the soft curvature of space, the ghost of gravity holding nothing but memory. It will be, in its own way, a kind of peace, not the peace of stillness, but of completion. And perhaps in that distant stillness, there will be beauty still. Not in light, but in balance. Not in fire, but in form. For every circle that ever turned, every orbit that ever closed, was practice for this. The great resting circle, where the universe itself returns to the quiet from which it came. Maybe this is not an ending at all, but a return. A loop closing upon itself, like breath turning back into silence. When you think of that future, you may feel a small ache, a sadness for the fading of the stars, for the death of color, for the slow unraveling of everything that burns. But remember, every dusk has its own kind of beauty. The quiet after the song, the cooling air after the storm, they are not lesser forms of existence. They are the universe remembering how to rest. And in that rest, there is grace. We live in the bright middle of that story, a fleeting age of light, between the birth of motion and its long surrender. We see the stars not only as they are, but as they once were, a record of the universe in its vibrant youth. To know that it will one day fade is not to despair, but to cherish this moment even more. We are part of its warmth, part of its spin, part of its luminous memory. The far future will come, as surely as the dawn comes after night, but it will not erase what has been. Every atom that ever turned, every light that ever shone, will remain inscribed upon the silence. And if there is anyone, or anything, to witness that last quiet turn, perhaps they will feel what we feel now, awe. Not sorrow, but awe. That from nothing came motion. That from motion came light, and that even when the light goes out, the motion will not forget. For long after the final star dims, long after the galaxies dissolve, the universe will still be turning. Slowly, softly, endlessly, like the final breath of a dream that refuses to end. There is a truth so simple, so vast, that the universe whispers it through everything that moves. All that exists turns, from the smallest particle buried deep within the fabric of an atom, to the galaxies that sprawl like rivers of light across the dark. Everything spins. It is not a metaphor. It is not poetry pretending to be physics. It is the quiet grammar of existence itself. Spin is not just motion. It is memory, identity, and purpose. It is the way the universe breathes. Every story we've told, from the birth of stars to the fading of their light, is really one story told in many voices. The story of rotation. From the first asymmetry that broke the stillness of the Big Bang, to the Earth's gentle turning beneath our feet, to the slow revolutions of galaxies drifting toward eternity, This is the rhythm that binds all things together. The universe does not speak in words, it speaks in motion. And that motion, repeated from atom to galaxy to soul, is its eternal language. When we call it spin, we are naming something far more intimate than we realize. It is not just what matter does, it is what matter is. Every electron in every atom carries that signature. It spins not because it is told to, but because spinning is its essence. That invisible rotation gives it character, defines its magnetic touch, lets it bind and bond and create the world we see. Without that inner spin, there would be no atoms, no chemistry, no matter, no life. The very existence of solidity depends upon motion that never ceases. But the universe did not stop with the microscopic. It mirrored that motion in every scale. The same principle that keeps electrons spinning, keeps planets in orbit, keeps galaxies spiraling in their graceful arms, keeps space-time itself curving, flowing, breathing. The macro and the micro, the smallest quantum spin and the largest cosmic rotation, are echoes of one another. It is as if creation learned one dance at the beginning of time and has been performing it ever since, changing only the tempo, never the step. And if everything spins, what does that say about us? We too are part of that rhythm. We turn without knowing it, not only as the Earth carries us through space, but in the deeper ways that echo the universe's design. Our blood flows in spirals. Our DNA twists like a double helix, a tiny living galaxy inside every cell. Our hearts beat in waves, our thoughts move in cycles, our lives unfold in orbits of their own. We are not separate from the motion of the stars, we are its continuation. The universe does not spin around us, it spins through us. Sometimes, when you close your eyes and let the world fall quiet, you can almost feel it. The slow turning of the planet beneath you, the hum of electrons in your body, the vast sweep of galaxies far beyond your sight. All of it connected, all of it breathing in rhythm. It is not chaos. It is not noise. It is the sound of being. When ancient civilizations looked at the heavens, they saw wheels within wheels, the stars circling the pole, the sun tracing its yearly path, the moon's endless return. They carved spirals into stone, painted circles in the sand, built temples that turned with the seasons. They did not yet know of atoms or galaxies, but they understood something deeper, that the sacred shape of life is a curve, not a line. They felt what we are only now rediscovering, that motion is holy, and that to spin is to be alive. Perhaps that is why we find peace in watching the slow dance of the cosmos, why we are drawn to the swirl of galaxies, the curl of waves, the flicker of flame, the turn of planets in their invisible paths. It is because we are seeing ourselves, our origins, our essence, reflected back to us. Every spiral in nature is a mirror, reminding us of the first gesture of creation. And maybe that is why we seek rhythm in everything, in music, in breath, in thought. Because rhythm is the closest language we have to speak with the universe. Science tells us that motion cannot be destroyed. It can change form, slow down, transfer, but it never disappears. And so, when we talk about the end of things, the fading of stars, the cooling of the cosmos, we are not really talking about endings. We are talking about transformations. When the galaxies stop shining, their motion will remain. When even the last atom decays, the memory of its spin will still ripple through space-time. The universe will never forget how to turn. In that sense, rotation is not just a property, It is a memory, a promise. The stars may die, but the motion that birthed them will continue to echo forever. Like the final vibration of a note that never truly fades, only moves beyond the range of hearing. The universe, then, is not a machine that winds down. It is a song that slows but never stops. And we, fleeting creatures made of stardust, are notes within that song. Our lives are small arcs in a much larger spiral. We come from motion, we live in motion, and one day we will return to it. The particles that once made up our bodies will spin on, becoming something else, a current of energy, a pattern of light, a whisper in the endless turn of things. Nothing is truly still, not even death. Perhaps that is what the poet meant when they said, "Nothing rests, everything circles." For existence itself is not a line that begins and ends. It is a wheel, turning in and out of itself forever. Creation and decay are not opposites, they are parts of the same revolution. The universe spins not because it must, but because it is free. And in its freedom, it finds rhythm. The eternal spin is not a curse of repetition, it is the music of balance. It is how the infinite remembers itself. So the question remains, the one that lingers softly at the end of every scientific equation, every dream, every human lifetime. If everything spins, perhaps so do we, in more ways than one. Not just our bodies turning on a planet that circles a star, not just our atoms whirling with quiet joy inside our skin, but our thoughts, our souls, our stories. We move through cycles of love and loss, of learning and forgetting, of rising and falling, each of us tracing a small orbit through the gravity of time. And maybe that is the universe's way of reminding us that we belong to it, not as observers, but as participants in its endless dance. When you look up at the night sky, you are looking into the mirror of your own motion. Every point of light you see is turning, remembering, becoming, and so are you. The galaxies spin, the planets turn, the atoms within your hands hum with the same rhythm. It has always been this way, it will always be this way. For spin, this ancient, silent turning, is the pulse of existence. It is the first word ever spoken by the universe, and it will be the last sound it ever makes. Everything turns, everything remembers. Everything lives inside the same eternal motion. And if you sit quietly enough, beneath the slow whisper of the stars, you might just feel it. The world turning beneath you, the atoms spinning within you, the galaxies circling far beyond you. All of them saying the same thing, in the same language since the beginning of time. To be is to turn.